What's going on, man? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the basement. I'm Ron. I feel like I had to hop on the mic today and drop a little emergency episode for you guys today. We had some big news in the NFL. We had the San Francisco 49ers trade up to the 3 spot. We had the Dolphins trade back to the 12 spot, then trade up to the 6 spot with the Eagles. So a lot of news happened today. Just had free agency done. So I felt like what could possibly be a better time to hop on the mic, spit some fucking game to you guys, and do a little mock draft. I want to do like a post-free agency mock draft. There's still some guys out there that got to land places like Clowney, Richard Sherman, Villanueva, the right tackle, or whatever tackle position he plays. There's a lot of chips left to fall, but I feel like because of the news that just happened, and you had Zach Wilson's pro day, why not do a quick mock draft? As you guys can see, we are on the draft network. I'm not sure if I'm going to be in the left corner, the right corner, the bottom right corner, the bottom left corner, but you guys know the vibes. Before I go any farther, if at any point during this video you're fucking with the content, you're fucking with the vibe, make sure you go down below, smash the like button, and subscribe, man. It's free. I pump out videos like this, fantasy football videos, basketball videos. I got all the sports that you could possibly want on this channel, man. We're just starting out. We're just growing. We're at like 575 subscribers. I love you guys. Without further ado, let's go. First team on the clock, we got Jacksonville Jaguars, and I just want to make it clear when I do these mock drafts, I honestly just enjoy doing them because it's kind of interesting to kind of put yourself in the mind of GM. With these mock drafts, this isn't who I would take, this isn't who I think is better. I'm just personally making the picks based on who I think each team would pick. So it's just kind of like a prediction of what I think is going to happen. And I think it's pretty juicy, especially for you guys out there that follow the channel, where this is mostly fantasy based. So we care about these landing spots. We care about the offensive line. We care about the wide receivers, the quarterbacks. We care about just how things fall in general for these teams. And I'm a football nerd, a football junkie. So why not hop on the mic and kick one of these mock drafts for you guys. Now, I'm not even going to really waste too much time. The first pick's going to be Trevor Lawrence. That's locked in. You can literally put your mortgage on it. You can put your life on it. That is set in stone. Now, at the number 2 spot, we have the Jets. There's a lot of talk right now, or there's actually not a lot of talk. I'll be honest. There's really only talk between like Jets Twitter, and it's about, are we going to roll with Sam Darnold? Are we going to take a quarterback? And I think the fact that we didn't move at all yesterday shows me that we're taking a quarterback. I know like Corey Davis came out and said like Sam's my guy. Look, that quote got like blown out of proportion by Bleacher Report and stuff like that. No new guy is going to come to a team and speak for the GM. They're not going to be like, oh, Corey Davis, who do you think is going to be quarterback? He's not going to sit there and be like, yeah, that Sam Darnold guy, he's trash. We're going to take a quarterback. There's no fucking way. So Corey Davis instantly would be cut. Like, that's not something that he can even speak on. So, like, the PR move just to keep it PG, smile for the cameras. He's sitting with Sam Darnold. That's my guy. As far as I know, Sam Darnold's the quarterback, which is what any Jet would say right now. But I think because Philadelphia didn't move up to the Jet spot, that Philadelphia said that they would have moved up if they knew they could have had Zach Wilson. So that tells me two things. That tells me that the Jets were not offering their pick for sale, which means they want to take a quarterback, and they weren't going to move to 3 because they feel that the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson at 2. So I'm just going to pencil in Zach Wilson. He's the leading favorite. If you go on like if you go on like FanDuel, if you go on DraftKings, it's going to have Zach Wilson locked in for the number. They're like maybe like minus 500 to go second overall. So we'll go Zach Wilson. He's not my favorite quarterback. I think he's great though. The pro day, he's making some sexy throws, some throws that I know Joe Douglas is watching late at night when his wife is asleep doing God knows what with. The whole squad was there. Saleh was there. LaFleur was there. They all came out to the pro day yesterday. It seems like it's in the cards. You know what I mean? Now we have the San Francisco 49ers on the clock. And I didn't talk too much about the trades in the intro because I kind of just want to talk about the trades when we get there. So we have the 49ers on the clock. They trade away their 112, their third round pick, their 2022 first, and their 23 first for the Miami Dolphins 103. They move up. They want to get their quarterback of the future. And I love this move for both sides. I think that Miami, I love this for Miami because it takes a lot of this uncertainty away. I'm not even a huge believer that Tua is a great quarterback. I think that he's a fine quarterback. I think that he has plenty of potential to be great, but they're doing the kid dirty. Or not anymore, but they were. When you have Fitzpatrick in and you have him on a short leash, okay, you fuck up. Here's your wide receivers. You don't have Devontae Parker. You don't have Mike Gesicki. You have like Jakeem Grant, Matt Collins, like literally nobody. I think like maybe Anthony, I was going to say like Anthony Fasano might even playing tight end for them. You're throwing him out there with like Myles Gaskin. And then third quarter comes around, he's not doing well. Obviously, he has no weapons. He's a rookie quarterback. And then you throw in Ryan Fitzpatrick, just killing his confidence, man. They just kept on killing his confidence, pulling him out for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then in the offseason, maybe they'll trade him for Deshaun Watson. I just hate what that does. As much as I don't really like to read into that too much, I don't think it's great for a QB to be on that short of a leash. You have to either commit like this is our guy, or do the Patrick Mahomes route, and they should have just had Fitzpatrick do like an Alex Smith kind of thing. See if we can win now. We'll worry about Tua in year 2. That already happened. Fitzpatrick's gone. Now they trade out of this pick, and they're fully investing into Tua. And I think that while Miami thinks that Tua is the guy, I think that San Francisco thinks that Jimmy G is not the guy. Now we've had Jimmy G. He had the one good year, and you could say that when he made it to Super Bowl, he's a great quarterback, but at the same time, you have to remember they made it a lot on the back of their defense, on the back of their really good run game. Jimmy Garoppolo did okay, but he was never going to win them games. You know, that's not like really the recipe to building like a crazy team. You want to have like a franchise quarterback. So I think they want to take a swing on that. There's also games last year where I think that it kind of got overstepped, but Jimmy G got cucked by CJ Beathard and who's the other guy? Chris Mullins, like a couple times. Or Nick Mullins. Is Chris Mullins a basketball player? I don't know. I would be inclined to say Justin Fields. I would take Justin Fields here, but I think they actually go Trey Lance because Lance Zierlein made up a great point. Like, I would never think about it this way, but he's like a draft scout for NFL.com. If the 49ers wanted to go Justin Fields, I don't think they make that trade without seeing his pro day in person. I think that they see Trey Lance's pro day, they see Zach Wilson's pro day, they make that trade because they have 2 quarterbacks along with Trevor Lawrence that they feel good about. Maybe they see Justin Fields' pro day and it puts them in a different direction, but I would say right now they lean towards Trey Lance. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, it seems like they haven't been inclined to move him. I think that they will end up probably trading him, but if they don't, maybe they do they have him, Trey Lance, you kind of bring him along as like this raw guy. Even though I don't even think that he's that raw. I think that he could probably start week 1 if he needed to. But as I said, I think because they did it before Justin Fields' pro day, I think that that's fine. Now, the next pick we have is the Falcons, and I'm going to make a trade here. Now, the Draft Network, here's the thing. I'm shelling out $30 to these guys a year. I don't know what it is to be able to make trades. I'm not even going to go through it, but right now, if I offered the Carolina Panthers 108, their 2022 first, or 23 first, they're a bigger trade package than what the Niners gave up, it still wouldn't work. I don't know. The trades aren't working. I think maybe it's because of the trades that just happened. They got to update things. So just pretend that this Falcons team right here, pretend that that's Carolina. Carolina's going to move up. They're going to give up their 108 and a first-round pick in 2022 to go up and get their quarterback. I think that they keep on saying they want to go in. They were trying to go in on Deshaun Watson. I think that they were maybe sending out offers for Russell Wilson. This is a team that wants to move up in the draft. I don't think that they think that Teddy Bridgewater's the guy. You have Joe Brady. You have Matt Campbell is the head coach over there. But I think that they have weapons now with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. You also have Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. They had Teddy Bridgewater out there. I think that they just realized that like Teddy Bridgewater is not going to win you anything. So I think that Teddy Bridgewater is actually pretty good. Another one like a Fitzpatrick or a Jimmy Garoppolo, where a bridge quarterback. So I think that they can just go play Teddy Bridgewater if they need to. But I think they're going to bring in Justin Fields, and I think that Joe Brady will have a field day with Justin Fields. I think that he really fits what Joe Brady wants to do. I think he'd have a lot of fun. I think that backfield just on read options, just because Justin Fields is already a mobile threat, so that's going to open up running lanes for Christian McCaffrey, and they're already going to manufacture touches for Christian McCaffrey, so mobile quarterbacks usually don't pass the running backs, but in that offense, he will. So I think that's a perfect fit. Then we have the Bengals at 5, and I really wouldn't be shocked if it was Jamar Chase. I really like the idea, or I like it's like a sexy idea, you know, that they go Jamar Chase, they pair Joe Burrow up with his favorite college receiver. But we're going to go Penei Sewell. I don't see a world where they don't just protect him and just get him another offensive lineman after what happened last year. You know, it helps the run game with Joe Mixon. It helps Joe Burrow stay healthy. They do need pass catching help, but if the front office knows what they're doing, they know that this is a super stacked wide receiver class, so they'll just take one like the second or third round. Like if they go Penei Sewell, and then maybe they go like a Diami Brown in the second round, or an Elijah Moore, something like that, they'd be set. Or Elijah Moore would kind of conflict with Tyler Boyd, but something like that, someone that can play the Z wide receiver on the outside, opposite from T. Higgins in the slot. Then we have the Dolphins, and I think that this is going to be, I think that they moved up the 6 because they still wanted their blue chipper, and I think that this could be easily Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, or Devonta Smith. I think it's going to be Devonta Smith. They pair him up with his college quarterback. I think Devonta Smith fits in their scheme pretty well, and they just want their wide receiver 1. I think that they believe in Devonta Smith. I think Devonta Smith, even though he's not my wide receiver 1, I think there'll be plenty of NFL teams out there that think that he is wide receiver 1. They grab their wide receiver of the future. They get to another weapon. So now he has Fuller, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, and Devonta Smith. There's zero shot that he can fail with that. So why not just build around them? I think that's the whole point of moving back to 6. They wanted to get out of quarterback range, but they still want to be able to get Jamar Chase, Pitts, or Devonta Smith. Then we have the Lions, and I think the Lions go Jamar Chase. They need that X receiver, that alpha receiver They just lost Kenny Golladay. They just lost Marvin Jones. They need someone that can go on the outside, win with physicality. So they get Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has a very similar play style to a Kenny Golladay. Even though Jared Goff has never thrown to a Kenny Golladay, I think it's still, it's just they need to have like a pillar, cornerstone wide receiver. You have Calvin Johnson, then Kenny Golladay, and now you have Jamar Chase. I think that it just makes sense for their offense. They're literally, I can't even name you their wide receivers now that Golladay and Marvin Jones are gone. I guess it would be Danny Amendola, Quintus Cephas, really ugly receiving core. They still haven't addressed it in free agency, so I think that for sure that number 7 pick will be a wide receiver. Again, it could be Kyle Pitts. I think that some teams probably have Kyle Pitts penciled in as a wide receiver, so we'll see. Then you have the Panthers, but it's actually the Falcons because this fucking website won't work. Shout out to the Draft Network. You know, this has been a great website that I've been using, but Jesus Christ, fellas, I don't know why I can't put players in, or I don't know why I can't make a trade. So we have the Falcons, and I think that they go Mika Parsons. I think Mika Parsons could easily be a guy that falls. I've heard that he has red flags with his character or something like that. He took a year off, but I've seen him regarded by a lot of these big draft guys as like a blue chip type prospect. He's just the best player available here. The Falcons, I think that they're still kind of bought into like maybe like a win now type idea where they roll with Matt Ryan, they roll with Julio Jones, and they just kind of roll things until the wheels fall off. I think until Julio or Matt Ryan get traded, they will just be in win now mode until it doesn't make sense anymore. So I think they go Mika Parsons. Outside of Deion Jones, they really don't have any great linebackers. Mika Parsons looks like a great fit. He ran like a 4.35 at his pro day, crazy athletic, looks like a really good linebacker. So I mean, I don't do too much like film work on the defensive side of the ball. From what I'm hearing, he's a beast. At 9, we have the Broncos, and I think that Denver's out on Drew Lock. I think that they had Drew Lock in there last year. They haven't seen anything in 2 years. Maybe they would be a team that makes a push at maybe they would have taken a push at Andy Dalton or something like that. I think that they're in play just as much as Carolina is to move up. But for the Broncos, we're gonna go Mac Jones. I think to a lot of guys, I think the NFL teams, he's not that far behind. I think that everyone thinks that there's a clear tier between Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and then a huge drop off to Mac Jones. I don't think a lot of teams think that way. I do think that Mac Jones will be a top 10 pick. I think that I don't know what's very different about his profile from Joe Burrow's coming out of college. Joe Burrow had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Terrace Marshall. Mac Jones had the same amount of help. He did the same exact thing. If it wasn't for Jalen Waddle getting hurt, he probably wouldn't have won a Heisman as well. So I think that Mac Jones is actually pretty good value at number 9. In terms of like a real life QB, I think that Mac Jones is as good as any of these other guys besides Trevor Lawrence. So then at 10, we have Dallas. I think some of you guys might question this pick, but I think they go best player available, just like they did last year. I really liked what they did last year where they already have Michael Gallup, they have Amari Cooper, and they're already pretty stacked at pass catcher, but Jerry Jones just says, fuck it, we're just gonna stack it. So just kind of the idea, like the rich get richer kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, why not? If best player available can start on the field most of the time, why not go grab him? So they get Kyle Pitts, the rich get richer that position, and you have to remember that their current tight ends are Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin. Blake Jarwin got hurt. Dalton Schultz wasn't anything crazy. You give a healthy Dak Prescott, Kyle Pitts, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb, and Ezekiel Elliott. Like that's just a preposterous offense. So I think that it would make sense for them to go defense, but I don't know if they can pass up on Kyle Pitts. Like I'm not sure Kyle Pitts makes it out of the top 6, 7. So if he falls to 10 here, I don't know why they wouldn't take him. At number 11, we have the G-Men. And I've been liking slotting wide receiver to them, but I mean, they just got Golladay. They have Darius Slayton. They have Sterling Shepard. I don't think that they would draft a wide receiver to play wide receiver 4. And I don't think that they are that low on Darius Slayton yet to say that Darius Slayton should be a wide receiver 4. So at this pick, I think that they have a lot of different ways. I think that they also need edge pretty bad. The thing is that there's not a blue chip edge prospect in this draft. So I think that they just go O-line. They get Rashawn Slater. They have here's the problem though. Andrew Thomas on the left side, then you have Cam Fleming on the right tackle spot. That's who played there last year. He's like a journeyman right tackle. He's not good at all. I'm not sure. He might have had a good season last year, but he's obviously not like a franchise right tackle. I'm not sure if he's even signed on the team through 2021. Now here's the problem. Rashawn Slater and both Andrew Thomas play on the left tackle almost exclusively. Now, you could have like a Ronnie Staley, Orlando Brown kind of thing where Rashawn Slater or Andrew Thomas would move over to right tackle. It kind of just have to be on the level of the Giants kind of talking to Andrew Thomas and then talking to Rashawn Slater and seeing what their temperature level's at with that type of move. Now, obviously, I couldn't fucking tell you what that conversation's even like. I'm just taking a guess here. But if you can have Rashawn Slater looks like a blue chip offensive tackle, so if they can get that at 11, they can just get another offensive line piece. I think that after they secured, I think cornerback was something that they could have gotten here, but they went cornerback Now they have a Dory Jackson. They have James Bradbury. Their secondary is solid. All they need really is an edge rusher. I think you can make the case you need a QB, but they're out of the market. They wouldn't take a QB unless his name was like Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson. They need an edge. There's no blue chip edge at this point. And I think that you could also say they need a linebacker, but with Mika Parsons on the board, it doesn't matter. I think that the Giants would be in a really good spot to trade back here. It didn't make sense at 11 for anybody to trade up without a QB being on the board. So they kind of get shoehorned into having to taking best player available. But I think Rashawn Slater would really beef up their O-line. They would have, I don't know who plays center for them, but they would have Andrew Thomas. Then at the guards, they'd have Kevin Zeitler and Will Hernandez, and you have Rashawn Slater on the outside. Like, that would just be a super crazy offensive line. Saquon Barkley, like that offense, as long as Daniel Jones can make any kind of jump, or he was even pretty dope his first year. So if you can just have Daniel Jones do what he did in his first year, I think the only person that would hold back that offense would be Jason Garrett. Because Jason Garrett, he's a bozo. I don't know how he even has a job. He's like, in terms of like offensive skill set and like play calling, he's like up there with like Adam Gase for me for like one of the most ignorant, bad, before their time, or like just like oblivious to what is like the modern offense type guy. So you hate to see that for them. Then we have the next pick. We have the Eagles, who traded back from the 6th spot, and I don't mind it because I think that they are in the mindset. I don't like the idea of not of drafting a quarterback when you have Hurts. I don't think that Hurts by any means is like set in stone, like crazy quarterback. He had some really good games last year. I think he started for like 3 or 4 of them. He showed flashes. I just don't think that you're in a spot to give up on him yet. I don't think that you want that quarterback. Like, if you bring in a Zach Wilson and Justin Fields, what does that quarterback controversy even look like? You know what I mean? So you move back to 12, get a pick in the next year. So I really like that move for him, and they can still get a pass catcher here. There's plenty of pass catchers. There's plenty of corners. I think they could easily go J.C. Horn. They could easily go with a Patrick Surtain. But personally, I have him with Jalen Waddle. I think that they need to build around Jalen Hurts, because the whole problem with Carson Wentz is that they didn't give him enough weapons. He was throwing to Travis Fulgham last year, Dallas Goedert. It was like Travis Fulgham and old Zach Ertz. I can't even tell you who else was playing on the outside. Like, who's the, not Fulgham, who's the other guy that they always throw to? Greg Ward, who played quarterback in college and like they found off the street in 2019 or 2020. That's never a vibe that you want to roll with for your QB. So I think they build around their young QB. They get Jalen Waddle. From what I've seen on tape, now it might shock some of you guys. You know, I'm like an analytics guy when it comes to player eval. I'm pretty good at watching tape, and I can kind of break down what's going on when I see it. I just don't really use it too much for player evaluation. I just sort of use it for like player prospecting and knowing like where they play it on the field and what their play style is, just so I can sound smart when I'm talking to you guys. And Jalen Waddle, from what I've seen, most of the time he's playing in the slot. He's playing in the slot. I think he can play like a flanker role as well. I don't think that he fits as a true X, but I think that Jalen Reagor's a similar like hybrid type player where he can play on the boundary, he can play in the slot, he can play some X if you need him to. They still kind of need like a clasher, like almost kind of like how Buffalo had Diggs, Cole Beasley, and then had like Gabriel Davis was like their ex-clasher type. They do need that big physical receiver, but I think that Waddle gives them like, they need more dynamic playmaking. They need guys that you can just throw the ball to and make a big play. You'll have Jalen Hurts has rushing ability, Miles Sanders has big play ability, Jalen Waddle has big play ability. They just need more big splash plays in that offense. It was very stagnant last year. So I think you get Jalen Waddle. He's a really good difference maker. So get him. You get a deep threat. You get a guy that, even if he doesn't, if you can literally just get him on a drag 3 yards down the field and he can take it for 15, 25. He kind of has that like Odell Beckham type it factor to him. At 13, we got the Chargers, and I'd be pretty tempted. I wish that Jalen Waddle was here, because if Waddle was here, he'd be an instant draft for the Chargers. I think that if Rashawn Slater was here, he'd be an instant draft for them. I think that Patrick Surtain is definitely, Christian Darrisaw is definitely in the conversation. They do need offensive line. They did just grab Corey Linsley from the Packers, though, so they are improving there. I think they could use another weapon after losing Hunter Henry. They just got Jared Cook, but I'm not sure how much Jared Cook really does for them. You have Jared Cook, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Mike Williams literally never plays more than like 10 games. So I would love a receiver for them, but I think 13's too high. I think there's another team that could probably trade back with a team like the Patriots if Mac Jones falls. But in this spot, I think that they kind of just hunker down. I think they go J.C. Horn. He had a really good pro day. He ran in like the 4.3s. He's a really physical corner. If you ever want to sort of get a feel for what J.C. Horn looks like, he has a game film against Kyle Pitts where there's some plays where he is manned up against Kyle Pitts, a way bigger, way physical or way more physical receiver, and he gives them a tough time. So I think J.C. Horn is actually a dog. He's been hyped as a guy that's probably gonna go like late first. I think after his pro day and some of the buzz I've been hearing, I think he has a chance to be like the first cornerback off the board. So we'll definitely see about that. And they cut Casey Hayward, so I think that they do need a perimeter corner for Chris Harris in the slot. So I think that that's a good pick there. They would have loved Pitts, they would have loved Waddle, would have loved Slater. Then we have Minnesota on the clock. They just released Riley Reif. So I think that they just go O-line. It seems like they go O-line every year, and they get like these project guys, and that's why they have to keep on dipping in. But I think after you release Riley Reif, you might as well. So I think that they go Elijah Vera Tucker. He can play guard. He can play tackle. He can fill in wherever you want him to, and that kind of sucks for his upside. You know what I mean? He'll never be a dominant cornerstone left tackle, which is like easily like the most dominant, most valuable position you can have in football. But he gets the job done. He plugs a hole. Then at number 15, you have New England. And this is another team that I think would like a Mac Jones, would like a Jalen Waddle. I've seen mocks where they trade up for Jalen Waddle, which I don't know if I would ever see Bill Belichick doing. I'm not sure Bill Belichick would ever... I don't know. I've never seen him trade up for a wide receiver besides trading his first for Brandon Cooks. But I think he goes Patrick Surtain. Stephon Gilmore, it seems like they've been trying to trade him. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you why they want to trade Stephon Gilmore. They also need a cornerback next to him. I think they do have J.C. Jackson, though. So, I mean, they would just kind of be adding Patrick Surtain, kind of like the rich get richer kind of thing. Why not? I don't think that they'll have Stephon Gilmore for that much longer. Then I will say I hate how many corners go in a row here, but shit happens in the NFL. For the Cardinals, we're going to go Caleb Farley. I think Caleb Farley makes a lot of sense for them. They just lost Patrick Peterson. They really have no one besides Byron Murphy, who plays primarily as a slot corner. So you have to get somebody on the outside. I think that their offense is fine. I think 16 is too high. I think that they're in play for Travis Etienne, but I'm just going to go... Where is this guy? Caleb Farley. There he is. Cornerback out of Virginia Tech. I think that he has fallen because he has back issues, but we're going to take him at 16 for now. All right, so next you have the Las Vegas. I muted the mic, yo. My bad. You got the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think that John Gruden and Mike Mayock, the silly man himself, Mike Mayock has just been making bad move after bad move. If you're a Raiders fan out there, I feel so bad, man. I feel so bad. You have Mike Mayock take Henry Ruggs over Justin Jefferson, over Jerry Jeudy, over CeeDee Lamb, over even the guy like Tristan Wirfs. They needed O-line help. Then they go out there, they sign Kenyon Drake to like $7 million a year when you have Josh Jacobs, who you invested first round draft capital in. It's insane the way that they're running this team, and the fact that John Gruden's locked in for like 18 years. Like you guys are literally locked in for life to John Gruden until he decides that he's had enough. So respect, man. If you're a Raiders out there and you're watching this, respect, man. I got a lot of love for you. I got a lot of as much of bad shit as I've gone through. It almost feels like if we had Adam Gase and McCagnon for like 8+ years. That's what it feels like for you guys. Even though you do win games here and there, I just think that John Gruden, without you guys just lucking into a Justin Herbert or something like that, I don't think. And you guys aren't in a position to take quarterbacks ever because you guys are just in this purgatory where you like fringe playoffs, get like a around the 10th overall pick, and you just either fuck it up or you go with like who was the one kid, the Dexter Lawrence. I mean, Dexter Lawrence, like he's decent, but what did you guys took him like top 5? When it's rough, man. If you're a Raiders fan out there, let me know in the comments down below, man. I feel for you because I've gone through some similar shit with the Jets, man. The Jets have taken years off of my life. We got the Miami Dolphins, and I think that they're kind of playing. They got some money ball type aspects to them right now, where they're wheeling and dealing, they're making trades, they're trying to win with analytics. So I think that as much as I think a running back makes a lot of sense here, but I do think they end up just going with offensive line. I think they go Samuel Cosmi. I think that they need an offensive lineman, and I think that their whole theme of the draft is going to be preserving Tua. They want to get wide receivers, offensive linemen, running backs to take the pressure off of Tua. I think the whole point is going to be kind of what the Broncos did with Drew Lock last year, even though it didn't really work out. But you got to build around your guy and give him the opportunity to succeed. And if he doesn't, then you can just cut ties and you can move on. Next up, we have the Washington football team, and they're super interesting because it feels like their defense is pretty locked in, and they just need their offense to kind of pick up their end of the deal. You know, like last year, their defense pretty much carried them. Chase Young was going crazy. They had fucking Taylor Heineke out there balling out of his fucking mind because he wasn't even balling out of his mind. He was playing at like a replacement level, and that's all they literally needed with that defense with Chase Young, Darby's not there anymore, so they have a little bit of a hit at corner, but I think they're still going to be in a elite or like elite adjacent defense. You know what I mean? Their pass rush is insane. I think that this is a spot where they could go linebacker. I think that 19 is too high for any of the linebackers in this class. There is no, I mean, like Jeremiah Osu, Karamoa makes some sense, but I've heard that he kind of plays more nickel corner, more safety, if anything. And I don't know that they need that too bad. So I think they end up going Rashad Bateman, and they just really want to solidify their offense. You know, you have Rashad Bateman, Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas, Antonio Gibson. That is a strong five with Ryan Fitzpatrick. That is a fringe top 12, top 15 offense. I think this is like 2 mock drafts in a row where I've been interrupted. Whatever. The show must go on, fellas. It happens to the best of us. My mom needed to get laundry. You hate to see it. I feel like I was on a bit of a roll there, but we'll just keep going. You have the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears are, they are going with Andy Dalton. Their offensive line is shit. Their wide receivers, shit. I don't know who they have. Anthony Miller, who is apparently on the shopping block or on the trade block. Then you got Darnell Mooney. They need an alpha, but Rashad Bateman, they just got cucked by the Washington football team. I don't think that they reach on a guy like Terrace Marshall or anything like that here. But I think that they cut Fuller. They need a cornerback, so I think they go Greg Newsome. He's a guy that's been getting a lot of buzz right now. So I like the idea of Greg Newsome. I think that it's a really iffy draft, but it just makes a lot. It's so Chicago. It is so Chicago to just like their offense is terrible and just say, nah, we're just gonna go cornerback. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Then you have Indiana. And I think that this is like pretty much to me is a lock that they go offensive tackle here just because they lost Anthony Costanzo. This is a team that really wants to build around the run game. And not only that, but they want to preserve Carson Wentz, a guy that's dealt with injuries, a guy that last year got sacked like almost the most amount of times in the league, even though he didn't even play a full 16-game season. So I think they go Tevin Jenkins. He's also like a run game-oriented offensive tackle, which like fits with what they're doing with like Jonathan Taylor and shit. So I think that's a really good pickup for them. Then you have the Titans. And at first, the Titans, for the last couple of mock drafts I've done, it just feels like they're going to go pass rusher because they need that so bad. They were like bottom 3 in sacks last year, and just like any pressure like adjusted metric, they were awful and they needed a pass rusher, but they ended up going out and getting Bud Dupree in the offseason. So I think that they're not as stressed to get a pass rusher. There's not really any blue chippers, so I think that this is actually a spot where they go Terrace Marshall. I think that they are super pressed for a wide receiver. I'm not sure that they have many other needs. They also do kind of need a cornerback after losing Adoree Jackson. I don't think there's any that they like, but I think that they need a good wide receiver here. So they go Terrace Marshall if I can find him, and they cut Corey Davis, or they didn't cut them, but Corey Davis walked, Jonnu Smith walked. They need a pass catcher, especially because they brought in a new OC who's a QB coach, and I think that he will keep some of the same system from Arthur Smith, but I think there's a really good chance that he wants to pass the ball more. So you have to give Ryan Tannehill some options because now there's also no Adam Humphrey now, so they really don't have anybody there. Like their number 2 wide receiver if they don't draft Terrace Marshall is, I think, like Khalif Raymond. So Khalif Raymond's never the guy that you want to go into day 1 with as your wide receiver 2. I don't think any team out there wants to. If you're watching this, Khalif Raymond, man, that's my bad. I'm sure that you could burn me all day in a one-on-one if we go down to a field. Also, let me know. I kind of wanted to do a combine with the boys, kind of run 40s and shit. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about doing something like that. I think that could be a fun video, like an IRL type video where I'm not sitting behind my desk talking about football and shit. So let me know, dude. Y'all fucking with the Tracy McGrady jersey? I think it's kind of sweet. But that's besides the point. We're gonna go to the number 23 spot where we have the Jets, and I was kind of interested in going Najee Harris or Travis Etienne, but I think they end up going Kwity Paye. Or Kwity Paye. I really don't know how to say his name. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know how to say his name, but I think that he is actually a really good 4-3 defensive end for them, and I think that they're really gonna want to fortify that front. I would love if they could go offense in this draft because I think that they really need to build around whatever quarterback they draft. But you have Robert Saleh. He has a scheme in mind, and his scheme is based off of pass rush and playing cover 3 zone. So I think that they have Carl Lawson, Quinnen Williams, the guy that they just got from the Saints. Really solid 3, and then they don't have an outside pass rusher. I think that I'd be shocked if at 34 or at 23 they don't go pass rusher. So I'm going to take Kwity Paye. I've heard that his agility is really good. He played well at Michigan, and I'm good to put a discount on anybody at Michigan's stats because I think that Harbaugh's just been so bad that it's been a tough situation to thrive in, man. It has been a talent wasteland in Michigan. They get all the 5 stars, all the 4 stars, and they do nothing with them. And I think that as of right now, if they don't sign a running back in free agency, they didn't sign Fournette, they're letting James Conner walk. There's no way in my eyes that they go into week 1 with Benny Snell, Anthony McFarland, and Jalen Samuels. There's zero shot that they do that. I think that there is a bit of a chance that they go like 2nd round, 3rd round, get a guy like Javonte Williams, because I think Javonte Williams fits what they want to do, but I think so does Najee Harris. I think that they kind of want to get back to the old Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger pretty much washed at this point. I really don't know why they keep on bringing him back for another year. I think that they have to cut the Band-Aid on that, or take off the Band-Aid on that. The problem is that they win enough games because of their defense to the point where they can't rip off the Band-Aid. They can't just say, all right, we're done with you, Ben, because what are they going to do? They're going to get quarterback at 24. So they're kind of like forced into this. So I think they go Najee Harris. Then at number 25, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have a really big need at safety, and I think that all day if Trevin Moehrig is here, I think you can take this pick to the bank. They go Trevin Moehrig. To be honest with you, I really don't know too much about what he does on the field at TCU. It just seems like a really solid safety, really solid coverage safety. So I think they grab him, add him to the defense, because I think the offense is pretty stacked. You have Trevor Lawrence, James Robinson, a decent O-line, DJ Chark. I think they just brought in Marvin Jones. Then you also have Laviska Shenault. I love what their offense looks like right now. So why not just grab a little defensive piece there? Then you have Cleveland, I think that they, on paper, according to like a lot of like Mike Clay, the guy who does projections for ESPN and stuff, they're saying that the Browns have like pretty much one of the best teams on paper right now. So this is pretty much a like luxury pick, and I think the only spots that you could point at that they could probably use another wide receiver. Their O-line is sick. I think the spots that you could point at is maybe you could say that their slot corner isn't great. You could say that their cornerback, obviously Denzel Ward is sick, but Greedy Williams, whoever they're running next cornerback to, has been a little bit here and there. But I think that they probably end up going with an edge rusher. I think they go Jalen Phillips. Now, Jalen Phillips is super interesting because he was like he was the number 1 recruit, like Jadeveon Clowney type shit in his class. He goes to UCLA. I think he has like injury issues, and he transfers to Miami. He balls out his last year there. Now he's kind of getting like late 1st round draft buzz. So I think they go Jalen Phillips. They get a guy opposite Myles Garrett, and that would just be scary. A 1st round pass rusher plus Myles Garrett, and now you're cooking. I think that a coverage linebacker would make sense for them here. But like I said, after Mika Parsons, I don't think anybody is really that thrilled about JOK. I don't think that they're very thrilled about Zaven Collins. I mean, we'll see. I've also heard about the one kid. What's his name? He might have gone to like Kentucky or something. Now I have to find him or else I'll sound like a bozo. Yeah, Jamin Davis. I've been hearing about Jamin Davis too as like a coverage linebacker, but I think that these guys are all fringe 1st round picks. Even Jeremiah Wosu-Kermo, because he's kind of a tweener. You know, he does like he plays some corner, he plays some safety, he plays some linebacker, and he's not quite as elite as a Isaiah Simmons to like justify that. Now, next up, you have the Ravens, and they just grabbed Sammy Watkins. They have Marquise Brown. They lost Willie Snead, so they're losing a lot of slot snaps, and I think because of that, they go, where is he at? Let me get this out of here. I think that they go with Kadarius Toney. As much as I don't even really like Kadarius Toney, he's getting a lot of 1st round buzz. He's a really good slot receiver. I think that they could throw him in the slot. All of a sudden, they have Kadarius Toney in the slot, Marquise Brown on the outside, and you have Sammy Watkins at the X. It's not bad, you know. And you have Mark Andrews at tight end. It's really not a bad setup for the passing game. So they go 1st round wide receiver. I wouldn't be shocked if they just say, nah, Sammy Watkins is enough. Do what you can with this, Lamar. We're gonna just get a defensive piece, because that's what the Ravens do. They could even get like a tackle here, because I think Orlando Brown probably gets traded before week 1. It sounds like he doesn't want to play right tackle. Ronnie Stanley got hurt, so he played left tackle. Got a little bit of a taste, a little bit of a scent of what left tackle is like, and he just probably prefers it way more. He's also at a stage now where he's not a young guy trying to prove himself. He can go play left tackle, and it's also probably a lot more money in his pocket if he goes and plays left tackle. You know, right tackles aren't as coveted, even though he can play both sides. So go chase that fucking bag, dog. Then we have the Saints at 28, and I think that this is probably going to be a cornerback. They have Marshawn Lattimore. They have Patrick Robinson. Patrick Robinson's not anything too crazy. Neither of them are signed past just this season, so they're in a lot of cap trouble right now, so why not go with Eric Stokes? Eric Stokes has a lot of buzz right now. He killed his 40 at his pro day. He's probably going to be like a late 1st round corner. I've just been hearing a lot of buzz around him. Then we have Green Bay, and I think that this is actually the one where it makes sense for JOK. They grab him. They just need a defensive playmaker. And this is a team that time and time again, they draft just straight defensive playmakers. They get Jair Alexander. They doubled up and got Josh Jackson. They just get guys that can play on defense and they make a difference. They go there. Now, is he going to play coverage linebacker? Is he going to play slot corner? I really couldn't tell you. Is he going to play a little bit of safety? I really don't know what they would plan on doing with him. But I think that he makes sense in the 29 spot, even though I would say that they need a wide receiver. I don't think that Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Alan Lazard is enough for Aaron Rodgers. It's always enough for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is sick. Not taking anything away from him, but they could really use a complimentary piece next to Devontae Adams. Like, I would love if they went with a Rondale Moore, if they went with even if they went like a Diami Brown. I think that would be a pretty good value at 29. Then you have the Buffalo Bills. I think this is where they go Azeez Ojulari. I think they just get an edge rusher. I think they just add to Hughes, Addison, Epinesa. They don't really have anything crazy, and I don't think they have any needs besides that. I mean, they could get corner. I don't think there's any corners on the board that they like. So I think they go Azeez Ojulari. I've seen them mocked running backs here. I don't know if they do that. They just added Matt Breida, so now they have Matt Breida, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. I don't think that they plan on cutting any of them. Maybe they end up trading one, but we're just going to go Azeez Ojulari. I think that he's getting a lot of buzz too after that Georgia Pro Day. So why not? Then we have KC, and they just brought in Joe Thuney. They brought in Kyle Long. So those are two guards that they brought in. They didn't address tackle. They cut Mitchell Schwartz. They cut Eric Fisher. So I think that between now and then, they could re-sign one of them to a restructured deal. But until we see that, I think that they just, for now, I would be shocked if they don't go offensive line. So I'm going to go tackle, and we're going to give them Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame. He could, offensive linemen from Notre Dame, they have a good track record. You have Ronnie Staley, you have Mike McGlinchey, Quentin Nelson, Zach Martin. They have plenty of dogs over there. So maybe you get a steal with Liam Eichenberg. Then at that last pick, we have the Buccaneers, and I think that they end up going with, what's his name? They end up going with a pass rusher, not Jason Elway. Jason Elway, apparently, he's super athletic, but I heard that he literally didn't have a sack in his junior season. So I'd be a little bit concerned about that. I mean, maybe some people aren't, but I think they go Gregory Rousseau. He was sick his sophomore year. He sat out his junior year. A little bit of weird stuff, but I've seen Gregory Rousseau go as high as like top 12, top 15. So I think that that's really good value for them. They don't really need any help. They just returned all 22 of their starters from the Super Bowl. So I think that they maybe just add to their pass rush and get a guy where they can just rotate in more heads, keep their pass rush more fresh. Even maybe move in a guy like Shaq Barrett or Jason Pierre-Paul inside on some like if it's like third and long, you know what I mean, and just go straight up. We're gonna load the box with pass rushers. And I think it just makes sense for what they want to do after what happened in the Super Bowl. So you just kind of add to their pass rush. All right, man. So that's the draft. If you made it this far, man, I appreciate it. I love you. Even though I don't know you, I fucking love you, dog. As always, you can find me at @RonStore_ on Twitter. If you fucked with the video, make sure you subscribe, leave a like. And that's it, man. We're at 575 subscribers. I love you guys. Spread the love on the channel. I would love if we get to... My goal is 1,000 subscribers by the NFL draft. I think that's going to be a little bit tough to hit, but why not... aim for the stars and shoot for the moon, as a great poet, Pop Smoke, once said. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thirsty, trying to choose. I mean, I know I'm pretty cool. My nitty bag, my kitty boots. I got the juice, I got the juice. 10 Chatham's on. Foolies glad I'm home. Even my